All right, guys. We are just sitting in the lobby waiting for things to finish on up here, or well, for a reload of the client. So hopefully you're all hyped up to see how game number 2 plays out. I mean, this was the choice of FWC eSports. So this is a map that they talked about last night with me. And this is a map that they keep playing over and over so that way they can actually reach, well, their highest potential, or surpass their potential, I guess. Go Super Saiyan, if you will. FWC esports going ultra instinct mode. But they're trying here to get good. And this is the map that, based on their coaching that they've had from Cavalier Guest, is the map that he feels will make a team into champions. Basically, if you can execute there, you can then take what you've learned on Tomb of the Spider Queen and then apply it anywhere else. So we're still waiting for one more. I guess this client restart is hella slow. Offline for 4 minutes right now. So now this time around, we're going to be going to Infernal Shrines. And Infernal Shrines is definitely a much more traditional map than Tomb of the Spider Queen, where Tomb of the Spider Queen is really about controlling the turn-ins, trying to get as many back-to-back, and trying to remove as many as possible from the other team, as many gems as possible. Now, I don't think the draft was bad from runboiz at all. In fact, FWC esports gave them a lot of what they wanted, I feel like, and they still walked away playing the game how they wanted on their terms and managing to win it. And because of that, I would be kind of concerned as runboiz. We got the picks we wanted, but we didn't get the outcome essentially they wanted. I mean, if we look at, they've played 2 Rainer games, one with them as well. Diablo games, they've been 50% on, so 1-2 lost 2. Urel, they've been 100% on with 4 games. Alex Straza, they had 2 games and won both of them as well. So runboiz had so many picks that statistically they've been winning a lot. I mean, technically they have a great win rate. It's only 8 games, so it's hard to really derive true meaning out of those numbers, but nonetheless it is something. We'll be jumping on into the draft as they're now all ready to go over there as well. So first things first, we're going to have a Johanna ban again. The Alex Straza are going to be banned out as well, because this is actually a much stronger map for her in comparison to Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is where it felt a little awkward. Now, they're repeating the same strategy here in general. Ban out the tanks, force them to pick up a tank now, or they're going to pick up a tank and deny them one of those so-called top tier picks. The Maiev will be banned out as well. A solid all-around ban. This means Genji is available for either team. Not the typical thing you see, but because these guys are also playing the game slightly differently, they are going to pick up the Rel this time around. Now, this leaves a lot of choices. You can pick up Diablo. You can pick up Diablo and Phoenix together to get that nice synergy. you can pick up Deckard, and White Mane is also available. So they are going to pick up Garage and Deckard. They've done a complete 180 here. So far we have now we so far have roughly the same comps coming out, and FWC right now I think has a, just looking at how they've drafted, this is better to me than how runboiz did last game. So they picked up the Diablo now because they have to fear for getting Diablo banned out, but now White Mane is going to get banned out. So runboiz strategy of tank choking people is very, very effective. They basically keep forcing pick up your tank or lose out picks. But I'm actually surprised that they're not banning out White Mane. But they themselves can actually pick up White Mane if they wanted, but that would be insanely crazy here to see White Mane actually banned, or sorry, actually taken on the side of runboiz. So in the Raynor ban, I can definitely see why they would ban out Raynor. I mean, you have a Phoenix first low, Urella first low, Diablo first low, and then Jimmy on top of that. You're getting like insane value for the Jimmy. But like, they need to take a support. In this case, they're much more fearful of Jimmy Raynor than they are of White Mane. I don't know what that says about the priorities, but at least they recognize the synergy that Jimmy is going to have available. And I can't disagree that it makes a lot of sense. But they're not even picking up White Mane. They're going for the Kael'thas and the Malfurion. On the other side, they do have Global with the Dahaka. And they have the Jaina. The Jaina Garage combo potential is definitely very high. Now, Diablo will likely have a lightning breath, so won't be rooted, but will still take the chill and take the damage, which means that if you sit there as Diablo, taking the lightning breath damage straight to the Chrome Dome, well, you're going to be finding yourself underneath a blizzard and quickly obliterated without a spell shield, that is. Now, even with the spell shield, it's going to be a lot of consistent damage, especially with the machine gun build most Jainas go. Now, the Malfurion Kael'thas, I wonder if they're planning to go with the Twilight Dream here, because you can dissuade Garage from actually continuing forward if you silence him right before he gets the taunt off, because there's a larger range of the Twilight Dream than there is for the taunt. But they can blow someone up, so Malfurion seems like an awkward choice because of the fact that they have a comp built around blowing someone up. Where White Mane, you drop a Scarlet Aegis, you heal and you give armor. You can prevent the blow up, and in combination with Urel, you're giving people 75 armor. 75 armor. Do the math, and that's no damage. Okay, it's 25% damage you're taking, but it's essentially no damage. You might as well say your mana, useless. Your cooldowns, useless. Your autos, useless. All of it, useless. And a team definitely could take advantage of that, in my opinion, over the choice. But they're probably playing for the Diablo charge, the Diablo overpower into the Malfurion root, and into the gravity lapse. So they're opting for root stun and stun. They're looking for that combo, the classic combo. I still think White Mane would be overall a safer choice. Not that this combo is bad by any stretch. It's an excellent combo, and I have full faith that they can execute it. But I think playing for that instead of potentially the team fight with White Mane, I'm not sure how I feel overall. So we're going to be hopping on into the game as things are kicking on off here now. We got Sormir on the Dahaka or Green Barney. We got Shredded Wind on the Garrosh. Corgi Booty on that Thrall. We got Titan's King on the Jaina. And we got Taki on the Deckard. And that is going to be Run Boys. On the other side, we got Flyest Raven on the Urel. We got McNulty on the Diablo. Retor on the Furion. We got Axon on the Phoenix. And finally, we got Kroven on the Kael'thas. And we're going to kick things off here with the traditional footsie fight in mid. And taking a look at what we have, we're going to see the Echo, the Elements, the Sapphire, the Warbreaker, which was the more traditional pick on Garrosh that we didn't see last time. We got the Fingers of Frost, we got the Tissue Regen. Other side, we are going to see the Soul Shield. And Zoromir taking a lot of damage. Flyest Raven is juking and that tongue like it is nothing. Now, we also have the Mana Addict once again, the Shando's Clarity, which allows Kroven to just spam his abilities all day long. We also have the Arsenal Synergy and finally a Maraud's Insight. Shredded coming on in, won't be able to actually land the throw, but a nice gravity lapse from Kroven will keep him from actually getting onto Axon at all. They do hit the shield a little bit, but doesn't really matter. The shield regens back up real fast. So mid cleared, bot, so they're basically able to counter rotate at this point and start up the Merc camp simultaneously. But no one's actually here soaking this up. They're losing a bit, but they are getting Shredded Wind. A very nice toss to keep himself alive. Kroven will be here to get the remainder of that. So now this is a little bit dangerous. They know exactly where they are, but they're not going to try and contest this at all. They're going to accept that they're picking up the Merc camp. They're going to have Corgi just work on getting his Echo of the Elements completed. Corgi, does he have the Windwalk? No. And he does smack him a few times, but he will actually make it on out. Shredded Wind tossing back McNulty. There's the root. He tries to get out McNulty and will manage to do so. Axon coming back in with the peels, and Shredded Wind will be going down as the first blood. So one thing I want to point out that Axon really deserves credit for is most DPS and most assassin players will run away while their tank is dying. Well, Phoenix has this little thing called slow, and he steps up. He has a shield, he has the teleport, and all of that allows him to play more aggressively, and he's perfectly doing what he can to save McNulty and keeps helping him dramatically, both in the last game and so far in this game. Now, McNulty anchoring for his team, keeping vision and knowing where they're rotating and going to be able to stop that rotation too if they so choose to try and catch another wave. We have Echo the Elements almost done. We also have the Frostwolf pack. So Corgi not going for the extra mana and cooldown reduction, but instead opting for more roots. Beautiful Warbreaker coming out from Shredded Wind. He's going to be rooted temporarily. We got ourselves 3 stacks there and 6 on the Warbreaker. Kroven coming on in. Nice gravity lapse. The follow-up stun from McNulty. Indomitable will be popped in the root, but Flyest Raven will knock Shredded Wind on back. McNulty, that overpower might have actually saved him. Flyest Raven coming on over the top, going to ensure Shredded Wind goes down, and they take this a 1-0 so far. So, Dahaka still soaking it up. 7s are much closer at this point for FWC eSports. If they can soak up, which they have Flyest Raven doing at this moment, they'll be hard pressed to be contested with for a little bit of time. We're going to see the Vengeful Roots, which I failed to mention, and the Hand of Freedom, which is going to prevent Garrosh from actually landing as many throws. Flyest Raven Axon doing a beautiful job of running Soromir around in circles. There's the burrow, and there is no interrupt for it. So Zoromir will make it out for now, but Flyest Raven's actually coming and chasing him. At this point, Zoromir has nowhere to go. He will have to pop his essence, and a nice timing on the burrow. In the meantime, in the bot lane, they will get the tower, but only a tower, nothing else out of it. The nice peel from McNulty, Corgi Booty coming on in, looking for, oh, they part like the Red Seas, and he misses the root. So at this point, Corgi Booty thankfully completed the Frostwolf pack, and so he can throw these out all day long now. So 15 out of 20, 93 out of the 100, 12 out of the 20, and 5 out of the 10. On the other side, we're also going to see the Burn Flesh once again. We're going to get the Ancestral Wrath, the Emerald, alongside the Potion of Shielding, the Indomitable, the Into the Fray, the full Q build. We also have Hero Stalker here instead of a one who collects, and the Feeding Frenzy. Other side, Internal Flames. We got the Nature's Cure, the Combat Advantage, and finally Divine Steed. So we're not going to get the Oomba Smashing build. A nice stun coming out from Minolti, overpowering to Titanus King. The Gravity Lapse, however, is not going to make it onto its target, and this might actually be really bad. The burrow on in, Zoromir looking for it. Krovan will be able to mac it on out the Flame Strike, and not going to hit anyone as he was using it to peel, and Retor will be the first to fall in the meantime. Nice Gravity Lapse, Krovan trying his best. There comes the Blizzard. Shredded Wing going to toss him on back in like he's tossing some salad. And oh, Krovan getting out some big damage, but it's not going to matter. This time around, let's see if the instant replay actually works. There we go. We're going to see Retor deep in enemy territory. And at that point, well, he gets picked on up. Krovan dropping the damage prior to actually getting anyone in his Flame Strike. And at that point, well, McNulty has nowhere to go. The Gravity Lapse from Krovan doesn't matter when you're slowed out of your mind from the combination of Garrosh and Jaina. And then they just pick up, you know, another easy kill from Axon, who is trying his best to try and save his team. So at this point, well, they're going to pick up their Shaman Camp. Very nicely timed here from FWC eSports. And this is pretty well timed. They could have picked it up a few seconds earlier to get it with the wave exactly so that they can push it on in. Zoromir will actually be dropping once again from the game. I think he might be back there. Zoromir has officially left the building for good, so he must be having connection issues. All right, so we're gonna have to wait for Zoromir to get back in here. FWC eSports not going to be too deterred overall. I mean, we're looking at a situation that is pretty good still for runboiz. Runboiz have gotten themselves a bunch of kills, putting themselves on top in the actual kill count. They aren't ahead in terms of XP. They're a little behind. And in terms of structures, they're also a little behind. We have full front walls for both teams almost. Front wall, gate down. We have gates and towers down there, and also the well. Good news though for runboiz. Well, runboiz has a well still available for this fight on both lanes. Bad news is that Zoromir, aka the Dahaka, has to first deal with the Shaman, and then he can come in the fight, which then will make this a 5v4. So runboiz have to be very careful about what's actually going on here. They know, or should know, that Zoromir has to clear, which means that the best that they can do is try and poke whoever's sitting in this bush. That's one of the downsides about better teams. Better teams all pretty much will do varying degrees of the same thing. In this case, you'll have your tank sitting in the bush keeping vision for the rotation. At the same time, that means it's very likely that runboiz know that, which means that McNulty might start taking free damage from Titan's King and Corgi Booty, all while trying to keep vision. But if they rotate in an awkward fashion, we have Shredded Wind who can come on in and hit him up with the taunt. And you can see his positioning right now for Shred. Well, I'm actually in. I'm in the webcam view. A Shredded Wind is hiding in the bush right now, and that means he can come flank, and well, depending on how FWC eSports handles this, they should be perfectly fine. I've seen teams, unfortunately, have miscommunication about what action they should take. FWC eSports, I'm not expecting that kind of thing. They'll probably all drop on someone on a dime if the call is made to go in fight instead of clearing. And at that point, if you force the fight from FWC eSports, Dahaka has a choice. Do they let the Shamans push in? Or does he help his team? If he helps his team, then the top gets value. If he doesn't help his team, they can potentially lose a lot more. Lose Punisher, lose multiple heroes, and then they lose the XP race for 20, if you will. Now, in terms of quest progress, we have Mana Addict, which has been completed. Only one stack on the Vengeful Roots at this point. 11 out of 15 for the Warbreaker, 9 out of 10 for the Tissue Regen, and 16 out of 20 for Fingers of Frost. We have no selection yet from Corgi Booty on the choice of Heroic. We will see the kind of standard choices: Isolation, Ring of Frost, Warlord's Challenge, Stay a While and Listen, and it could be Earthquake, it could be Sunder. The Sunder can come out post, but he also has Ancestral Wrath. Ancestral Wrath will then also heal and deal damage, and against someone like McNulty on the Diablo, it's super valuable, which Earthquake gets you those stacks much faster, which means you can use it significantly more. And it might be much more valuable to get it despite having all these slows already. But if he picks up the Sunder, they can blow someone up much more likely than with an Earthquake. Now, I'm keeping track of the time here since they have, I believe, 10 minutes before the game has to be called with a bot or continued with a bot. Unless, of course, like FWC Esports is willing to wait even longer. But on the other side, we have the Lightning Breath, we have Phoenix, we have the Tranquility, Purification Salvo, and Ardent Defender. So they are looking to sustain through. Remember, Regrowth gives allies 10 armor as well. And that'll help prevent the blow up. But at the same time, it's still a risky proposition trying to sustain the burst of runboiz. That's why I was originally concerned with the Malfurion choice. By opting for Malfurion, they lose significant sustain and significant armor. And because they also don't have Yrel picking up the armor at level 7, that, or is it at level, yeah, it's at level 7, I believe, or 4, one of the two. Yeah, 4, there we go. At level 4, because she also didn't pick it up at level 4, that means it's still easier to blow someone up. You basically have very, very minimal armor to bypass. Now, it is definitely possible to sustain through, but Red Aura is going to have to be pulling some magic out from I guess his warrants. I just got pinged or something. I heard something. I heard something. I can't see. I can't type. Okay. I can't type again. Son of a bitch. Something happens. Okay, there's definitely something in my game that's hiding the chat. Some hotkey is hiding my chat. I need to find this. Um, where is it? Trying to figure this out. Hotkeys. Advanced. Chat. I can't. Alright, guys. We're going to be hopping on back. For whatever reason, I need to figure out why that happens. It must be some sort of hotkey that keeps doing it. McNulty going to actually get the overpower. Kroven coming on in hot with that beautiful stun. But there comes a Ring of Frost. And there's the sustained problem that I was talking about. Stay a while and listen. McNulty caught on out right now. We got Flyus Raven trying to do his best. And McNulty will be going on down. So at this point, well, it is top pushing on in. Mid is still up for grabs. They will have some time to respond to this, as they have only a few more seconds without Diablo, but it's reaching the point where they won't be able to actually try and fight for this. So 5v5 once again. They'll have to be happy with just defending this. They do have Lightning Breath available, Purification Salvo as well, and the Ardent Defender. I'm surprised neither of which were used during that engagement. So at this point, well, they're going to just have to clear this up. We got Flyus Raven coming around. He needs to be very careful, though, as there are 4 members there. Well, Dahaka is going to be going down, and Flyus Raven is coming on in the back for the rear. There's the toss on back. Shredded Wind already taking a lot of damage, but Flyus Raven coming on in. We got Flyus Raven going to be hitting Titans King. Actually, no, the Sunder going to finish the job, and they will be losing McNulty temporarily. I mean, he has 35 souls. But that is not enough to come back instantly. They're going to be losing this mid fort. And because of that, they're going to be falling behind in XP now. So the real problem is that they lost the fort. Not that they're down slightly. We have Kroven actually coming on in, going to try and spot out if anyone's there. They will get up and get the Merc camp, but it will be cleared relatively quickly. Remember, as they have the combination of Kroven and Axon down here. McNulty going to be trying to come on in, but Shredded Wind did the math and got his Warbreaker completed simultaneously. In the top lane, we still have Flyus Raven facing off against Soromir. There's the knockback, and Soromir is going to have to walk away for now. But he does have tissue regen completed, so he has a ton of regeneration to keep him on in. Now, top lane gets their Shaman camp really early. The bad news for FWC is that, well, they'll have to have Flash Raven stick it on out up there. In the bot lane, though, Corgi Booty coming on in, going to send Kroven over to the other side. Stay a while and listen, also burnt. And they have gotten themselves one kill. The Ring of Frost going to actually connect. Titans King calculated and did the math to finish off Axon there. Now they find themselves down 2 members. So, beautiful Ring of Frost, keeping him locked down, knowing exactly where he's going to be porting to, coming on in hot for, you know, the Ice Queen. And in the meantime, Flyers Raven and McNulty are going to do their best to try and get some value otherwise. Because now this is a 16 versus 15, or going to be a 16 versus 14 scenario. They will have to back on out. They will not get this fort, as Corgi Booty will be coming on up. So, I think the Sunder was the right choice here for Corgi Booty. Largely because, like I said, they don't have the sustain with Tranquil. They can't sustain the burst. Indomitable actually going to stop the charge, but Shredded Wind all alone. And, well, with no one there to help them, they have just lost the edge that they had for this a brief minute or so. In the meantime, we do have Soromir here. He has to be very careful. They do see they see 4 members, which means that Soromir can be as aggressive as he wants. They still are looking for 16. There comes the Sunder. The port will happen beautifully by accident. And that's actually a very awkward Sunder, largely because the team was not ready to follow up with Corgi Booty. They're still not 16. They can get it off the top here potentially. They do have the man advantage, and they've already taken 15 of the skeletons. Unfortunately, Soromir is putting a ton of pressure on this bot lane, which puts him in a bit of an awkward one instead. Flyers Raven going to get out of dodge. There's the Ring of Frost going to catch out no one. Runboiz seem like they're panicking a little bit by blowing these heroics. Sunder's down. Ring of Frost is down. These are not just like, you know, tools you throw out. These are big heroics that win you the game. They zone them out for now, but there's 27 of 8, and Soromir left the bot lane. I think he should have stayed down there a little bit longer because 16s were bound to happen regardless. Shred and Wind looking for it. There's the knockback. We got Flash Raven coming on in the back. Kroven lifting Soromir. The lightning breath and all of the damage being pumped on out onto multiple members. 1, 2, 3. That's easy as can be. Redfish, Bluefish, Dahaka, last man standing. At this point, they lose Phoenix, but my God, they clean up house. So top lane fight, we got the blizzard that I was talking about earlier, happening immediately, falling on the head of Diablo. But at that point, he has the soul shield, and he has 100 souls. Flyers Raven coming on in, trapping Corgi, and, well, lightning breath and purification salvo, pretty good combination. Now, this is 17 versus 17. All is not lost here by any stretch. We also have the ability to get this on over. There's a toss on back, the taunt. They're looking to execute him, but there's the Ardent Defender being blown now. They did not have all the tools necessary to keep Flyers Raven from actually dying. They didn't use the Ring of Frost. They didn't have Sunder because Corgi Booty wasn't there. There's the Dahaka Burrow. They are going to melt through this keep and take... Oh my God! They just been melted by Kroven over there. There's the Sunder, the Ring of Frost capturing 2. Titans King coming on in, dishing the damage. McNulty getting low. Soromir popping the essence, the grab. Purification salvo coming on out. Going to deter him from continuing forward. But they trade all of Diablo's souls for the keep. Whether or not that is actually worth it, we'll come to find out as the game continues on. Because 100 souls is super critical. I mean, Soul Shield, 25 plus 50% of his current souls as spell armor for 4 seconds. That is huge to not have, because that's 75 armor for McNulty that he will no longer have available against Jaina. McNulty keeping some very aggressive positioning to keep eyes on if they're rotating. Flyas Raven also positioning himself as well. So this is a race for 20 on the side of FWC eSports. They do not want to take a fight if they don't need to. They want to get the XP and they want the lanes pushed on in. So the Shaman camp on top is not going to get value. It's actually very beneficial for FWC because it pushes the wave closer to them in a much safer place. And this is not the sort of situation you necessarily want overall. But there's the invade. They're looking for it, but they don't get there in time on the side of runboiz. They do chase them away, and as their namesake, they're making their opponents at least run. Flyas Raven all alone does have the Divine Steed, does have Ardent Defender, but the taunt coming on out the Sunder as well. But Ardent Defender, full HP, baby, and they're going to send her away. Taki going to be rooted. They stay a while and listen, but on top of that comes the Ring of Frost. They're trying to wreck Redor. The flame coming to tear through the purification salvo. Flyas Raven still standing. Shredded Wind about to go down. Flyas Raven is somehow surviving. Sorimir going to be lifted on back. Over the top comes Flyas Raven, and they manage to get 4 members. The old man is in hospice right now. Flyas Raven going to euthanize him because, well, it's only kind thing to do at this point in time. And well, what can we say? That's 100% GG. We're going to see the Purification Salvo, the Phoenix, the Lightning Breath, and they just walk on through, melting the rest of runboiz. They take the fight. They try to kill Flyas Raven. They burn everything on trying to kill him. And well, that's what happens. You burn everything. And you lose the game. You lose the game. runboiz making a very aggressive play there. Was it too aggressive? Yes, it definitely was, as we just saw. So it was a valiant effort, but I think I can't tell. I'd have to look over the replay if there was a heroic that was mistimed. For one, we didn't see the Ring of Frost come on out until afterwards. Additionally, Stay a While and Listen wasn't used to then combo further against Flyas Raven. They basically taunt him. I think the Sunder comes out maybe a little too early or a little too late. And Flyas Raven, from that point, well, you don't have the full CC to keep him locked down with the root. But root will still wake him up. He can still pop Ardent Defender. But it was still a very ambitious thing to try to kill Flyas Raven, who also has Divine Steed. And so Divine Steed, on top of that, able to get herself some distance, along with being able to jump away. And her team just ran a little bit, so they're not that far away. And they're mounted. Yeah, there's a lot to it. That was kind of crazy. Now, taking a look at the final damage numbers, Kroven making a case that Kel'Thas is a hero that should be played much more often. Corgi doing a boatload of damage as well. Not quite as much as Kroven, but a good chunk as well. Finally, we're going to have Titan's King falling at the bottom of the list of the assassins. Taking a quick look, I think one of the problems here, we had the Ice Barrier picked up. Yes, Ice Barrier is definitely a big deal, to be fair, in this particular scenario against Phoenix, Kel'Thas, and Diablo. You have all that AoE damage, and so getting the shield allows you to stay in there significantly longer. But without the machine gun build, it's much harder to try and finish off Urel before she pops it. Now, and then it fell down to the scenario of it was a 20 versus 19 scenario. Not all heroics were upgraded, no other talent choices available, like Titanic Might, or the bottomless flasks, or, well, usually people will go the bottomless flasks if they go with Stay a While and Listen. Thrall gets extra damage, or basically his own little bolt. And let's see. And then obviously Contagion. Contagion would have been a game changer. If that's the other mistake that seemed to happen there. I don't know if the isolation actually landed before they tried to kill Fly's Raven. The combination is 3 seconds of silence. You have 2 seconds of taunting. So in 5 seconds, they should hopefully be able to kill Urel. Of course, that was not what happened. But it's very possible they would still lose the game if they kill Urel, because they may not actually be able to win the fight now 5v4, because they lost the use of all their heroics to kill one person. But we're going to kick it on over to an interview really quickly. Yeah, as Chad has said, they definitely push elsewhere and soak for the 20. Exactly. That's the play for runboiz. Don't try to go for the Urel, especially when the rotation was so close to FWC eSports. You knew exactly where they were, and they're not very far away to help her. But we're going to kick it on over to an interview, like I said, so hold on tight.